Hello and welcome to this AWS certification question and answer videos. This is video number 3. If you're watching this video for the first time, I would recommend you to go back to the YouTube channel and also watch video 01 and 02. Let's see what kind of questions we are going to discuss in this particular video now. Before I jump into the question, I would like to highlight that if you're also a DevOps engineer or aspiring DevOps engineer who wants to crack your DevOps interview, then check out the links in the description for my Udemy course. I have offered a special discount in those links, using which you can enroll to the courses in Udemy and crack the DevOps interview with confidence. Check out the links in the description. Now let us see what kind of questions we are going to discuss in this video. You are managing an e-commerce application that uses an Amazon RDS MySQL database. The application experiences varying workload with peaks during sales events. You need to ensure the database can handle the increased load during these peak times without over-provisioning resources during the off-peak periods. Additionally, you want to ensure that the database is highly available and can fail over automatically in cases of instance failure. And the question is, which combination of the feature and configuration should you use to achieve these requirements? Let us see the options now. Use RDS multi-AZ deployment and enable RDS read replicas. Use RDS multi-AZ deployment and configure autoscaling. Use RDS single AZ deployment without provisioned IOP. Use RDS single AZ deployment with a burstable performance instance. Now, before I jump into the right answer, let us try to visualize this. In this architectural diagram, we have a user, and this user is using Route 53 and then an elastic load balancer to access our application, that is in App Server 1 and App Server 2. These App Server 1 are writing and reading data from the primary database that you see here, and this primary database has two read replicas, read replica 1 and read replica 2. And then it has a standby database that is also in multi-AZ. This architecture is what we call as RDS multi-AZ deployment with read replica architecture, and this is very critical for any kind of application that needs to have scalability at its peak. Now, please remember that the read replicas will only be used to read the data, and the primary database can be used to read and write the data simultaneously. Now that you are able to visualize this information, let us see if we are able to find the right answer in the 4 options provided in the certification question. Let us go from the last option. Use RDS single AZ deployment with burstable performance instance. This is a wrong one. Why? Because burstable performance instance can handle varying workloads to some extent, which is true, but they do not provide a high availability or automatic failover. This option is also less suitable for production environments with high variability in workload. The next one is use RDS single AZ deployment with provisioned IOPS. Now, the moment you see any kind of single AZ deployment stuff, you can ignore this answer because we already said that we need to have a good failover mechanism automatically and highly available system. So this is also a wrong answer. Then we have use RDS multi-AZ deployment and configure autoscaling. This looks as a good answer, but RDS does not support autoscaling by default. Remember, the Aurora instance does, but we are not speaking of Aurora here. We are speaking of Amazon RDS MySQL database. Nowhere in the question we have mentioned Aurora, and this is very important to know. Then we have the first option, that is use RDS multi-AZ deployment and enable RDS read replica. Now, of course, with all the 3 answers being wrong, this is the right answer. But why is it the right answer? This option ensures high availability through multi-AZ deployment, which provides automatic failover in case of an instance failure. Additionally, using RDS read replicas can help handle increased workloads during peak times, allowing the primary database to focus on its operation, which is really true. For example, let me clear the screen. Let us go back to the architecture. Isn't it true what we discussed? So we have a standby database. We have the read replicas also. So what is the primary database actually doing? Primary database is focusing on the key writes that needs to happen on the database. And also, when required, it is helping with the reads operation. But the read replicas are actually supporting the app with all the reads that needs to be done on the application. In case of an issue, the standby database will come into action and will support the primary database and replace the primary database as required. I hope this particular question was helpful for you. Again, this kind of question will appear in the AWS certification examination or in the interview. That is it for this video. Speak with you in the next video. Thank you.